And it's time for the business news now with Nicholas Poynton, who's joined me in the studio. Nicholas, so a notable profit for a power company, a renewable power company?
Yeah, this is a company that specialises in operating and developing wind farms. They're a New Zealand-based company, but they operate primarily in Australia. And the company's more than doubled its profits for the 6 months of September, mostly through accounting provisions as it deals with developments in a rapidly changing energy sector. The company did report an after-tax profit of 26.8 million Australian dollars. That's up from 11.8 million the year earlier. However, its revenue is down after selling a wind farm, but because of things like depreciation, foreign exchange moves, which is a lot of things that companies do, they hedge against dollar movements. Its bottom line was actually better.
So this is Tilt Renewables.
Yes. And it's had a very busy outlook ahead. It's got a pipeline of work underway here and across the ditch. For instance, it has a project here in Taranaki to build a wind farm. It's built about half the turbines. It anticipates that it will complete that project by the end of the year. The company's chief executive says despite some of these challenges we've seen in the energy sector, the possible closure of Tiwai has solidified for him that wind is the best energy sector to be in at the moment, given there's just so much uncertainty going on.
Interesting. Okay, now speaking of interesting, you're telling me that there's been some interesting stuff happening on the NZX today.
It's been exciting on the NZX today.
Oh,
constantly
exciting, not
refreshing.
just interesting, exciting.
Well,
okay.
Exciting for a business reporter, I'll put it like that. So first of all, the NZX hit the early child education operator Evolve with a please explain notice this morning. That's because the company's shares jumped up by more than 28% last week. Went from 9 cents a share to 12 cents a share, and that all happened ahead of its trading update that it put out this morning. And the NZX, remember, it has really strict rules about companies having to disclose any information that could materially impact the value of a company's share price. And in response to this letter that Evolve received, it says that it's complied with the rules, with the NZX's rules, and the movement that it's seen in this price ahead of its announcement, they've put it down to a mere coincidence. It also says that it's confident the trading update was not leaked ahead of time. And this update, when you have a look at it, it's filled with plenty of price-sensitive information. It states that the company plans to make about $14.4 million for the 9 months ended September. It talks about a strong rebound in trading in New Zealand and in Australia. And it also talks about the fact that it's going to spend about $20 million on purchasing new childhood centres. So, we had a quick word with the NZX this afternoon. They wouldn't say whether or not they were satisfied by this response from Evolve, but we do know that the NZX does offer these notices from time to time, and it's part of its regular market surveillance. But that's not the only interesting thing that happened on the NZX today. The big South Island dairy company, that's Synlait, they announced a trading halt, but they wouldn't say why. So that means you can't buy their shares or anything like that. But this company has made a series of big announcements in the past week, for example. They announced a big commercial agreement with a multinational company in the Asia-Pacific region, but they wouldn't tell us who. So they've announced this trading halt. We don't know when they're going to make an announcement. We know that it will be made by Wednesday at least, but we can probably fairly assume that they're primed to make something substantial very soon. So hopefully we'll have something to report on tomorrow when they put something up on the NZX. And to top it all off, the NZX set a record high today. That's on the back of the US election result. A lot of people have been betting on a Biden victory. It has been a little bit dampened in some parts by the fact that the Senate's going to be controlled by the Republicans. But look, we saw our own market has soared. It finished at a record close, finishing up 225 points, or about 1.8%, which is the biggest single session we've seen on our stock market in over a month. So it finished at 12,562. And on the currency front, our dollar set a 19-month high against the US dollar at 68 cents. And that's as investors were betting on expectations of a calmer White House, which could boost world commerce. So investors there were betting on currencies that would be affected by trade negotiations. And so at 68 cents, our dollar was also by 93.4 Australian and 51.6 British pence.
Thanks, Nicholas. Nicholas Poynton with a exciting wrap of the business news today.